Hi, I'm Luke Benstead. I'm creator of Driving Strikers and the Simulant Game Engine, and you're listening to the SEGA Lounge.
Welcome to the SEGA Lounge, where we celebrate our love for all things SEGA, including the games, the music, and the community. I'm your host, KC. Join me as I talk to different guests and learn more about their projects and passion for SEGA. Hello, loungers! Welcome back to the podcast. It's great to see you. Grab a drink, take a seat. We're here to have fun. Hope you're all doing well. As I was getting ready to record this intro, my cat just randomly joined me and sat on my lap, so you know it's going to be a good one. Even he can't wait for this week's interview. Before that, just a quick note. Did you know we have a very modest and frankly all over the place YouTube channel? It's where some of our video content lives, but more recently, since a few days ago actually, it's also another place where you can listen to full episodes of the SEGA Lounge. Thanks to YouTube's RSS feed import feature, we now have several of our most recent podcast episodes available for you to listen to straight from our YouTube channel. However, the channel is also where I'll be posting short video clips of select episodes, so if you're into that sort of thing, check us out on YouTube. We're the SEGA Lounge, in case you forgot. Right, my cat just put his paw over my hand, which I'm taking as a sign to shut up and just talk about this week's guest. This week, I'm joined by Luke Benstead, who you may know as the developer of Driving Strikers, which won Indie Game of 2023 in our Community Pulse survey. However, there's much more to Luke's story than just this great Dreamcast game. He's the person behind the DreamPi project, allowing your Dreamcast to connect to the internet, and the Simulant Engine, which powers some amazing indie games on the system. Enjoy a great chat with a talented person and learn how chance played a part in some of these projects. Hello, Luke. Welcome to the SEGA Lounge. How's it going?
Yes, I'm all good. I'm really, really good. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you very much for coming, for taking the time to talk to me about your projects, right? And so, Driving Strikers has taken the Dreamcast indie scene by storm, but some of our listeners probably know you from other projects as well. And we'll talk about those. But I usually like to take it from the very start, the very beginning. There's obviously the love for the Dreamcast there. Mm-hmm. But how did you get into video games as a whole, first of all?
Oh, video games as a whole. I mean, that was
way back.
A long time ago. I guess, so my house always had a computer. It didn't always have a video games console, but it always had a computer. We got, I think, a Sega Master System when I was 6 or 7. Absolute addict to Sonic on the Master System. And then we changed that up for a Mega Drive, got all of the Sonics, then went to the Saturn when that came out. We literally sold our Sega Mega Drive for a Saturn.
Okay.
And then we did the same thing again, I think, when the Dreamcast came out. I think the Dreamcast was a Christmas present, actually. So, yeah, always been a Sega. It's always been a Sega thing. And then I was obviously devastated when they stopped doing hardware. But, yeah, that's how I got into video games. Yeah.
Okay. So, and it all you started with the Master System in terms of Sega? Mm-hmm. That love for Sega always, remained throughout the years? And if so, why? What was it about Sega that made it so special?
I think it was cool. Do you know what I mean? I thought it was cool. I mean, I wasn't cool at school. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't a cool kid, but I thought it was cool. I remember there were lots of Nintendo kids in my class, and I was probably in the minority for fighting the corner of Sega. I always just couldn't understand. I was like, but Mario's so slow. Sonic's so much faster. Like, I don't understand. Why are you not understanding me? So that was always the case.
It was always the cool factor, right?
Yeah. I
So
mean,
you
at the time of Bart Simpson, it was, you know what I mean? It was like it was what Sega was going for, wasn't it? And I was absolute sucker for that at the time.
for sure. So you were surrounded by gamers. I'm asking because when I was growing up, so I'm from Portugal, and I got like the Sega was big here as well, right? During the 8-bit, 16-bit era, and a little bit, into the 32-bit era as well. The Saturn was big at the beginning, but at the start, I wasn't really surrounded by gamers, to be honest. So I didn't have like a lot of gamer schoolmates or anything. So I was in the minority for liking Sega and for being a gamer as well. But that wasn't the case for you, apparently.
Well, there was a few kids that I used to hang around with. They had like Amigas and stuff. My brothers, like mainly video games when I was a kid, was me and my two eldest brothers. We just played every moment that we weren't doing something else. We were on the Sega console, so that's really where it came from. But like, there was a handful of people that I used to hang around with had these not consoles, but like like Commodore, Amiga. Things. That's that, and I did kind of click with those people, I think, but there weren't many. It wasn't like now where there were loads of us.
It's cool now, right? So it's like mainstream.
Yeah. Back then it wasn't so mainstream, was it? Like consoles felt expensive and difficult to get.
Yeah, that was also another one of the factors that people, right? Probably parents didn't really want to spend their hard-earned cash on like a toy that can play games, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Okay, and so now let's get into the Dreamcast. So, what's the reason for that love for the Dreamcast that I'm sure it still remains, judging from your recent projects?
Yeah, I don't really know. It was a continuation of the Sega theme. When the Saturn was out, and I was definitely in the minority on that one. There was a lot of hype in. I remember maybe Saturn Power magazine, or like there were magazines showing like Godzilla on the Dreamcast in Japan. Do you know what I mean? Before it came out, because it was ahead in Japan, wasn't it? And I think I just got caught in the hype train. Like I was so excited about the Dreamcast, and then obviously the screenshots of Sonic Adventure in the magazines and stuff, and then I think it came out in was it October 99, something like that in the UK, and then I got it. I think at the Christmas, it was the only thing that we wanted for Christmas. So me and my brothers basically said, just get us that. That's what we want. And so then we obsessively played that until I went to university. So I went to university 2002, and I took it with me. Somehow we acquired another one. We ended up with 2 Dreamcasts at some point. I don't know how that happened. I think one started to break, and then we managed to get another one cheap. So I took the broken one to uni, and then I've literally carried it with me ever since. And that's the console that Driving Strikers was written on. So
that's amazing.
It's still the same console that we were given at Christmas in 1999, and it's still got I have to hit it occasionally to get it to work, but it does work. But yeah, that's what it was. And so the Dreamcast inspired me into my career as a software developer.
Okay.
Because when Sonic Adventure came out, I was like, I want to write this. This is what I want to make. I never got there. I ended up going into web development, but the programming thing started from that. Started in computer graphics and C++ and stuff, and that was all stemmed from wanting to make a game for the Dreamcast. So it's kind of funny that 20 odd years later, I did actually release a game for the Dreamcast, which was great.
You got there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Not exactly Sonic Adventure, but probably it's for the best, I would say. I think it's better to have driving strikers instead than another Sonic Adventure, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm saying this. People are just like, no, shut up. What are you saying? No, one Sonic Adventure 3. Okay. Settle down. Settle down.
I don't think that'll be on the Dreamcast though.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. Good point. And so you've done a lot of projects related to the Dreamcast over the years, probably because of that, dream and desire to do something, develop something for the console, right? That was like the main motivation. Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I know you're behind is the DreamPi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to tell us a little bit about that?
That's the biggest accident ever.
Okay.
So the story behind that is, so like I said, I carried that console around with me when I moved place to place. I didn't play it much for a long period from when I started university till about 2014, something like that. So there was a good decade where it was just gathering dust, not being played. And I stumbled at one point, I was Googling something, searching for something, and I found a forum where I found that you could connect it to your PC and you could still dial up to the internet and play some games. You had to have a Windows PC, you had to do some stuff, you had to have a 56k modem attached. And so I bought a 56k modem, a USB modem, and it arrived and I put it in a drawer and said, I'm going to do that PC thing. And then I never did. And then the Raspberry Pi came out and I got one of those. And I was like, what can I use this for? And it nearly went into the same drawer as the modem.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, hang on. This is a PC. I can connect that thing to that thing and plug it into that, and then hopefully it will work. And it did. It did kind of. Like, you could get it to work, but it was just so clunky, and you had to answer. You had to dial on the Dreamcast. You had to answer on the PC, on the Pi, and then it might work if you get the timing right, as long as you had a game that would dial when there was no dial tone. And it had to, it was only a couple of games then as well. It was just like maybe Quake and PSO or something. And so that's where it started, because I was like, well, I'll just write a little Python script that answers for me. Like, it listens for the number. So, when the Dreamcast dials, it sends a tone over the line. So I was just like, well, I can listen for that. So when it stops sending numbers, I'll just answer straight away. Okay. Right, that was how it started. I just write a script that listens for numbers and answers. And that worked. But then the games I had needed a dial tone. And I found somebody on some forum had played a recording of a dial tone into the phone line. And that had convinced the Dreamcast to dial. So I found a recording of a dial tone, just a WAV file. And I can put the two together, right? So I played the tone, waited until the Dreamcast dialed stuff, then answered the call on the PC, and it made the connection. And it just kind of it just kind of went from there. Like, I posted it on, it was Dreamcast Talk, some forum, might not have been that, but posted it somewhere, and people started using it and going, oh, it works for me, it doesn't work on my modem, can you fix that? And then it just, over a year, it was just like a lot of iteration of just getting it working as much as possible. And then two things happened that were really interesting. The first thing was that somebody asked me if you could do Xbox Live for Dreamcast, and I obviously said no. And then I went away and thought about it, and I was like, well, actually, all of this stuff is going through all the communication is going through the Raspberry Pi. So we can watch for stuff as it goes through. And if it's like a request for a game domain, we can just tell a website, oh, hang on, this person's now playing this game. So I did that, and that was the Dreamcast Online service thing. And the other thing is that people started trying to bring back games that hadn't been playable before, because now it was accessible to get your Dreamcast online, whereas previously it wasn't. Shuoma started reverse engineering stuff, and he's they've like created loads of game servers now for all of the stuff. So it kind of triggered things, if you know what I mean. It just created a domino effect of like, okay, well now people can get online, and now these servers are coming back, and now there's more game nights and more people, and it just kind of snowballed from there. So it was kind of an accident. It was kind of like
the plan wasn't like to bring back Dreamcast Online for everyone. It was just like an experiment to see if can I use a Raspberry Pi and a modem to connect my Dreamcast, right?
I think now, I mean, it's been nearly a decade since then. Like 2025 would be 10 years for the DreamPi.
Yeah.
God, that makes me feel so old.
Tell me about it.
But what frustrates me now is there is a better way waiting for somebody. Like somebody needs to invent a better way, because you can totally build a replacement modem for the Dreamcast. You could make it run faster.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be 56K. You can like that communication port can go. It can go much faster, even in the modem mode that it uses. And it's just waiting for somebody to sit down and design a circuit board and a connector.
Yeah.
Like you could. There's a market. There are at least 3,000 DreamPis have been built.
Okay.
So there's a market. Like if anyone's out there and they're a hardware electronics engineer and they just want to do that and build a proper Wi-Fi modem thing, do that.
Yeah. That's a good point. Actually, I was listening to the Dream Pod. So shout out to our friends over at the Dreamcast Junkyard the other day, and they were talking about something that I do agree. There's a market for peripherals and accessories for the Dreamcast right now, not just for the Dreamcast, but like retro systems, right? But specifically the Dreamcast, there's a very active player base and a very active community of people who still play new games and old games on their Dreamcasts. So they were saying this, like the revolution that was the DreamPi, someone needs to create a new revolution with something a little bit maybe easier to use and more like plug and play. And that's like faster, like you were saying, right? That makes it even better than it is.
Yeah, and
so maybe
it can totally be done.
That's a 10th anniversary project, maybe. I don't know.
Well, the thing is that it's something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I probably have the skills to do it, but I don't have the time to do it. I'd much rather be writing new games and new game engines and stuff like that than build this adapter for the Dreamcast. But like, I know there are people looking at it in their spare time, but I just don't think it's a lot of work. Somebody that can do that or does it as a day job, they could just build it, get it manufactured in China, and then they could sell loads.
And people would definitely buy them. Yeah, they would definitely get their money back and then some.
So maybe in 10 years' time we'll be remembering the DreamPi because it's been replaced by some magic box that we connect.
Maybe, or still using the DreamPi. Who knows?
We're still using it, yeah.
But yeah, for hardware developers listening to this, just give it a go, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've got new controllers, we've got new VMUs, we've got new like HDMI outputs. It's kind of funny that actually all of the more complicated stuff has been done, but that's not complicated, and nobody's done it.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe people don't really feel like it's a need right now yet.
I think also, I don't think a lot of people realize how many games you can play online. So there was a video on YouTube I watched the other day where a guy made like a modern Dreamcast, and he made a custom case for it out of like 3D printed stuff and wood and things, and he put an HDMI output on it, and he basically modernized the console. But the first thing he did is went, "Oh, we're not going to use the modem. It doesn't need a modem." And I just kind of was like, you don't realize that you can play those games. So I think if people could buy a thing and it would connect, then it would improve the number of people playing online games. It's kind of a circular thing, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Which there are many, right now. Yeah, people are still, and like you were saying, like there are game nights and people playing. Like I don't know if every day, but probably, yeah.
I reckon every day people are playing, but there are some. I think some days are really busy.
Okay,
I think PC Wizard runs a. I think is it
Dreamcast
PSO
Live.
or something? Yeah, Dreamcast
Yeah.
Live is always doing game nights, but I think there's something on a Sunday that might be just
Mhm.
Fantasy Star Online.
I'm just checking here, just a quick check here on the dreamcastlive.net website. Apparently there are, is this games? 37 games online? 37 game sessions,
Sounds.
perhaps? Perhaps.
It sounds.
Probably.
Yeah,
I don't
sounds
know.
like it's probably that there's that many games now. It was like there was a time where like every month there was a new game, and it's funny because every time there's a new game released, I have to go and update the Dreamcast Now website to have its image and stuff. And
Okay.
and recently, it's becomes the code running that has become so old uh, that it runs on Google. It runs on Google's cloud. And they have stopped me deploying it because everything is so outdated that they won't support it anymore. So I have to rewrite it. So PC Wizard's going, you have to fix this because we've got new games coming out, and I'm like, okay. So yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah.
fix it.
Mhm. Yeah, so on Dreamcast Now, there are two sessions online apparently, or two players online right now. Yeah. One
Yeah,
person is playing Fantasy Star Online, and the other one is from Canada, and the other one from Sweden, probably not
yeah,
playing anything, just idle.
yeah, exactly.
This is nice because you can like get this information at a glance. Dreamcast online. It's nice to be able to see this, right?
Yeah,
It's crazy
and
that you can do this on the Dreamcast and get this information for Dreamcast games.
yeah, it is quite neat. Like if I had all the time in the world, I would make it so good. Do you know what I mean? There's so many more things we could do to that if I had the
Yeah,
time. I'm just spread too thin. I don't get the time to do all these
yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah, but
things.
nice. But it's nice that people can actually at least until we get. Oh, someone else just joined. Just joined. Three people playing. Three players online. Anyway, I'll close the website now and focus on the interview. This is not very professional, but at least until we get something better, we have the DreamPi, which is very much appreciated. So thank you, Luke, for your work on this. Speaking of other projects, so the Simulant Engine is also something
Yes,
that you created, right? So a
yes.
game engine with the Dreamcast specifically in mind,
Um,
or
that was
also?
another. This was another accident. This was another. This was another thing. So before the Dream Pie, in the sort of decade of no Dreamcast time that I had, I started working on a little. It was just a toolkit for graphics, computer graphics, and it was just my own thing. It wasn't like a game engine, um, and it just got bigger and bigger until it was just a code dump of stuff. And probably about 2010 ish, I started cleaning it up and making it a proper game engine. I'd started commuting into London, and on that commute in, I was building this game engine up.
Yeah.
And I stopped working on that probably about a year before the DreamPi happened. And somebody said on one of the Dreamcast forums that I was started visiting every day. They were like, "Wouldn't it be good if we had a game engine dedicated to Dreamcast?" And I was like, "Hang on, I've got something like from like a year ago that I can probably dust off and
In a
make it work."
drawer next to
Yeah,
my
exactly.
modem. And
It's the same thing. And so it did take a long time to get it to run. Like it took years to clean it up enough so that it actually ran on the Dreamcast. It wasn't designed. It was originally designed for Android. It wasn't designed
Mhm.
for something so low powered. So it took a long time, and then to get it to work, I wrote an OpenGL library because the game engine used OpenGL on the desktop and on Android. So I made an OpenGL library for Dreamcast, and that's what powers Shadow Gangs and
Yeah.
some other things that I can't remember. Um, but yeah, so that's how that came about. And then just before Driving Strikers kicked off, me and Dave Reichout wrote that Tunnels. It was like a little tech demo.
Yeah, tech demo, yeah.
Of the engine. And that was just oh, shall we just see if we can build something with this, see if it can actually do it? And it could just about. Like, it was a bit flaky, it crashed quite a lot. It was a bit, but it did work. And then we decided to do another one, which is what turned into Driving Strikers. So Simulant Engine is now it's much better than it was. So it's much better than it was even when I started Driving Strikers, because all of the learnings for that, after the game was released, I took like a step back and I fixed a load of stuff that had come up. So now it's in a much better place.
Yeah. You're saying that like the Tunnels tech demo was rough in bits, but in some bits, but nothing has been done that looks that good using the engine, I think, or close to it. It would be nice to see something come out that really fully uses the engine.
So most of, like, all of that is down to David Reichout. He's really talented at making stuff look really good in the limitations of the hardware. And I know he's working on things, and he's shown me videos and screenshots of things. I'm not going to spoil them. I don't know what he's working on currently, but there is stuff being worked on, and he's super talented. I'm not as talented with graphics as he is. I'm the code guy.
But that's it, right? So if people who can actually have the skill set to use the tools that you built, that's what we need here to come up with new exciting games for the Dreamcast.
Yeah. Did you see the Star Wars thing? There's a guy called Frogball. I think his name's Frogball. He keeps making these little demos like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
He's just released a kind of Star Wars Rogue Squadron demo, and that's using Simulant as well. And it's called Dream of the Rebellion, I think. But it's really good. It's really cool. It's really professional.
Dream of the Rebellion. Yeah. Oh, it looks really nice.
Yeah.
Frogball. Yeah. Okay. I'll actually link this in the show notes for people listening in who want to check it out. Yeah, this looks really nice. So there we go. See, talented people out there. Not me, because I have no clue how any of this works or is done. But I'm no game developer or a coder or anything. But people who are talented out there, check out Simulant and do something awesome for the Dreamcast. Yeah, how do you feel, by the way, when you see your tools being used this way? Because I reckon it's like a nice feeling, right? To see people use something that you worked on.
It is really cool. I mean, so Frogball doesn't seem to post. I mean, I don't know if he's posting on his Patreon or whatever, but he doesn't. He just surprises with, like, there's no
like announcement.
Yeah,
no build up.
Here's a brand new thing. Which is always fun, because that's always that was a surprise. But yeah, it's always cool seeing people use it, and obviously it's open source, so people can contribute back if they find problems, or if they want the engine to do something differently and stuff like that. And that's always cool. We've got quite a community around that. The Simulant Discord server. We've got all kinds of Dreamcast devs there, not necessarily using Simulant. The Callisto OS maintainers are in there. Ross from HarleQuest.
Yeah,
we chat a lot and share ideas and fix problems together. There's loads of people from the scene are there, and that's really useful. So even if people aren't using the engine, they might be using the OpenGL library. Or they might be using the sound library or something like that. But it's quite nice seeing everyone sharing the stuff to build new things. Yeah,
that's cool. Very cool. Yeah, speaking of HarleQuest, that's another good-looking game coming out at some point. So yeah, really excited for that as well.
yeah, Ross is really putting in a lot of effort into making that really good, like top quality game. It looks really good.
For sure. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So that brings us, I think, to Driving Strikers, right? So was that another accident as well?
Yes.
Was it in another drawer?
It was not another draw, but after Tunnels, we did Tunnels as a Halloween demo, and then David said we should do a Christmas demo because we did Tunnels in like 2 weeks. It was really quick. We were like, well, we can do that again. So the beginning of November, he said, should we do a Christmas demo? And I was like, yeah, we've got 6 weeks, it's fine. And we did it and released it, and it was just a single stadium. It was a bit broken, but it worked. And then loads of people said, can you make this a full game? And I thought it would be easy because I thought we'd kind of done most of it because we had a playable game as it was. Like we thought, we'll just build some more stadiums and stuff. And then somebody said, can you make it online? And that was where I should have said no. Saying yes was wrong. Getting it online was easily a year of development on its own.
Okay.
Like at least, like I reckon 80% of the development work was getting it online. Probably another 15% of it was the physics because I couldn't get the physics to work in that perspective. Because like the Rocket League perspective, realistic kind of physics makes sense. But when you're in that top-down view, cars don't turn. Like every time I released a demo, an updated demo, everyone would go, I can't control it. And it wasn't that the cars were wrong. It's just that at that perspective, you expect, if I press that direction, it's going to go that direction. Okay. But it can't. It has to turn around. And that takes time. So that was a lot of hassle. And in the end, I think about probably 3 months before release, I just deleted all of the code for physics and then just built something much more simple that didn't try to be realistic or anything. It was just like, yes, if you press right, it goes right. Like,
okay.
Yeah. So those were the hardest bits.
Interesting. So, by the way, I don't know if you're aware of this, but so we ran a survey a few weeks ago, like looking back at 2023 in terms of Sega and Sega adjacent and indie games on Sega systems and stuff. And so, Driving Strikers was voted as best indie game of 2023 by people from communities like Sega communities and friends of the show. So we really didn't open it to like everyone outside of websites and like people who run websites and podcasts and stuff. Maybe next year we'll do that. But either way, like over 20 something people voted for Driving Strikers as best indie game amazing. Of the year. So
yeah, I saw that. That's really cool. That was really cool. And I didn't know that was happening either. So it was just like, I just saw it come up on Twitter or something.
Like, yeah. I didn't announce it because it was closed, right? So I didn't open it to. I usually do this every second episode of the season. When we come back, I usually take a break in December and then come back in like mid-February or something. And the first episode is a look back at the previous season, like my highlights of the season. And then the second one is a look back at what happened in the world of Sega in the previous year. I usually have people like record stuff, like talking about their favorite moments in games and stuff. But this time I decided to do something different, like create a survey, like 7 or 8 categories. But I didn't really announce it to the world because it wasn't open to the public. It was just like friends of the show, like people from the Dreamcast Junkyard, the Sega guys, Radio Sega. So people who are, in some way connected to the Sega Lounge. And it was really nice to see so many people acknowledge Driving Strikers, which was really nice. Yeah, great game.
Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. So for people not familiar with Driving Strikers yet, like for the 2 or 3 people listening in who don't know what it is, how would you explain it to them?
It's FIFA, but FIFA with cars. It's probably the best way to describe it. It's Rocket League-esque, but because it's from a sort of FIFA perspective,
Mm-hmm.
FIFA was probably more of an inspiration to the actual like gameplay than Rocket League was,
Mm-hmm.
because like the camera, I spent ages watching YouTube videos of how FIFA's camera works to try and replicate that kind of movement. So like FIFA with cars is what it is.
Okay.
Or 2.5D Rocket League, depending on who you speak to.
And online, that's important.
And online.
Online.
Yeah. That's I think I was going to say that's his biggest feature, but I actually think local multiplayer is the best
Mm-hmm.
way to play the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, online's good second best, I think.
I would agree. Yeah, but it's nice to have like a new online Dreamcast game in 2023, right? Let's think with crossplay, right? Between Dreamcast and PC.
Dreamcast and PC. So Windows, Linux, Dreamcast, all crossplay. The Android version doesn't have online because that was going to be a nightmare. And the Android version for free. It's got ads. It's just a free download. So yeah, I wasn't going to spend another year doing that again. So Windows, Linux, Dreamcast are crossplay. And there's the possibility that I'll bring it to other platforms at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of depends on what I do with Simulant. So there's a partial PSP implementation for Simulant. There's a beginnings of a PS2 version. And the thing is that I can always revisit Driving Strikers. So like I can always, when the engine gains something, I can always revisit Driving Strikers and report it back.
Okay.
So yeah, at the moment it's those three.
Okay. So that's something for people to check out, and I'm sure they'll have a lot of fun. So we'll talk a little bit more about Driving Strikers in a bit, Luke. But it's very important to tell you this right now because, every time someone comes on the Sega Lounge, it's not just chat and like fun times. There has to be some sort of like challenge involved. So it's time for the Sega Lounge Challenge, Luke.
Now that you know our guests, it's time to put them to the test. It's the moment we've waited for. And the moment they dread.
Welcome to your doom.
I mean, welcome to the Sega Lounge Challenge.
Oh no, what's this?
For people listening in, he's very that's genuinely surprised right now. So, what? Yeah. So what is the Sega Lounge Challenge? Every time someone comes on the show, I put together something. It's the best way to describe this. It's something because it's different every time. This week, I thought to myself, so we're in the presence of Dreamcast royalty here, a major fan of the system. So let's put together two things that I like to do with the Sega Lounge Challenge. So we're going to play a game of back of the box and Knuckles. Okay, so what is back of the box? So back of the box is when I go through the back of actual physical games and read the description of said games to the guest, and the guest has to try and guess the game from the description. So we'll do that. Okay, we'll have 5 descriptions, but then we have the and Knuckles part because I couldn't come up with a better name. The Knuckles part is music. So we'll have 5 back-of-the-box descriptions and 5 bits of songs from Dreamcast games. It's all Dreamcast, so it's in your wheelhouse, I would say.
I feel like I'm going to be terribly at this, but yeah, it sounds fun.
So 10 rounds, right? 5 music rounds, 5 descriptions. Let's see. 5 points, 1 point for each, 5 points. I think it's doable. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
I think so. I think so. So let's start with the first back of the box description. Okay, so focus. These will sometimes be redacted for obvious reasons because I can't tell you anything that would give away, right, the title. So, number one is it's time to get redacted again as the yellow redacted returns, but this time to terrorize the streets of New York. With 4 new redacteds, a redacted jump feature added, and multiple pickups for those big fares. All you have to do is ask yourself one question. Do I feel redacted?
Is it Crazy Taxi 2?
Why?
Because.
So your answer, Luke, is Crazy Taxi 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think I should have redacted the fares.
Yes. Do you know what? I got it quite. I knew what it was quite quickly.
Yeah.
Probably the first line. It wasn't the fares.
It's time to get redacted again. As the
I think
yellow redacted, the yellow cab.
Yeah.
It's time to get crazy again as the yellow cab returns. Yeah. And then the question, all you have to do is ask yourself one question. Do I feel crazy? Apparently you do. Okay. So that's 1 point. Well done. One out of 5 needed. So let's see if you get the first song. Okay, so let's take a listen. This is a 10-second long clip of a song from a Dreamcast game. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a listen.
Yeah, I know what this is. Choo Choo Rocket.
You're quite confident of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubts about it then.
No, sounds
Definitely Choo Choo Rocket.
Yeah.
Could be. And it is. Good job. Well done. Okay, that's 2 out of 2. Well done. Very nice. 2 for 2.
It's not going to stay like that. In a minute, there'll be one.
Okay, we have another back of the box description.
Okay.
Ready? Okay. I think this is quite easy as well. I don't know. The future is a dangerous place, especially when you don't know where you are, who is trying to kill you, and why. It's California in the early 21st century. Human capital has a new meaning, and leading the war against crime is the ACN, an elite force of privatized law enforcers known as Redacted.
Oh, I don't know if I know this one.
There's a little bit more. I can read a little bit more.
Give me a little bit more.
Okay. In a truly interactive world, you play the part of leading renegade redacted Jack Wade, who must embark on a journey of truth and justice, rediscover his identity, and turn the criminal tide.
It's not Headhunter, is it?
I don't know. You have to tell me.
Oh, I don't know.
Why did you think about Headhunter? Why did you go there?
You know that there's a guy. This is one of the games that I've got and it's on my shelf in the must play this game thing.
Okay.
But I know that there's like a soul person who rides a motorbike and does stuff, and that's literally what I got.
Yeah, that's true. It's like sunglasses.
Yeah.
So could be California, so sunglasses. They say it's sunny.
Yeah.
I'm helping. Maybe not.
Yeah, that's literally the only guess I have.
Yeah, is that your final answer? Headhunter?
Yeah. It's gonna have to be
Headhunter is your final answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 2 out of 2. 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 2 Such a good guess. But it is, yes. Yes, it is Headhunter. Well done. Good job.
I'm literally amazed that I got that.
Yeah, so the elite force is known as Headhunters, and you play the part of leading renegade headhunter, Jack Wade.
Okay.
That's the redacted part. Okay, good job. 3 for 3. You're doing an amazing job so far. Let's go with the second song.
Okay.
Okay, I think this is quite easy as well. Let's see.
Oh, I don't recognize it. The only thing I can think is it sounds quite techno-y. I don't know, Jet Set Radio, maybe? I don't know, I don't recognise that track at all. So Jet Set Radio is...
I like how you're trying to read me somehow. And,
yeah, I'm not doing a very good job. I'm going to go with Jet Set Radio, but I don't know what...
Jet Set Radio. Would you like to listen to it again? Or let's just go with Jet Set Radio?
Let's just go with Jet Set Radio. I don't think it'll help.
Okay. What if it's Jet Set Radio? Could be Jet Set Radio.
If it is, that's a miracle. Like we're into just random guesses at this point.
Okay. So I was probably a little bit naughty when I clipped this little bit, because it probably sounds a little bit different. Just the ending sounds as what it is, but this was actually The House of the Dead 2.
I could have guessed all day long and when they were that.
Yeah, the ending of that clip starts sounding a little bit more like... So this is the stage 1 BGM, actually, when it's a specific part of that BGM. Okay, no worries. So still 3 points, 2 more to get to our goal of 5. And it's another back-of-the-box description. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
He says, worried. It is the 19th century, a romantic era when superstitions and legends are alive and powerful. Dreaming of a vast fortune, adventurers seek the legendary redacteds, magical stones that will make any wish come true. They are not the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Dragon. It's like, is that Dragon Ball? I don't think so.
I'll give you a little bit more.
Okay.
Redacted is a no-holds-barred action game where anything goes. Features total interactivity. Jaw-dropping graphics with fast-paced gameplay.
You say stone? Did you say that they...
The legendary Redacted's magical stones that will make any wish come true.
Is it Power Stone? Because that's the only game I know with stone.
B.
That's again, this is just a guess.
Power Stone 1 or 2 in that case.
I wasn't even sure that was a 2. I'm going to go with 1.
You're going to go with 1.
Yeah.
So this is not a sequel. The game is not a sequel. I will give you that. Is it Power Stone 1, though? It is. Yes. The legendary Power Stones. Magical stones.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, good job. Very good. 4 points. Very close. Okay. Round 6 is another song. Shall we give it a listen? Luke, yeah? Let's do it.
That I do recognise.
Oh.
Oh, I know that I'm going to get this wrong. I'm going to look like an idiot. Is it Phantasy Star Online?
Is it?
Like, I don't know.
So you
That's
know
the
you
best-
know it. You just can't
I recognise it, but and I can. That's the only game I can think of that sounds like that. I think Fantasy Star Online is my best guess. Yeah.
Phantasy Star Online is your best guess. So the song, the title of the song is Everlasting Quest.
Could be.
Could be. It's the world map. So I'm gonna lock it in, right? Soul Calibur is the right answer. I was trying to make like suspense, and I gave you the answer, but it is Soul Calibur. So sorry, no, it's not.
Yeah.
This went terribly, but the answer was wrong either way. Yeah. Everlasting Quest from Soul Calibur was the correct answer here. So did you play Soul Calibur or?
Yes,
Yeah.
I love Soul Calibur. I just haven't played it for a long time.
It's the world map, so it's like probably something that you would recognize, but not the correct game. No worries though. No worries. So we still have 4 rounds to go. Okay. 4, 5. Wait, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4 rounds. Yeah, maths. So the next one is another back of the box description. And it reads like this. Okay. Redacted is an endorphin machine releasing the essence of trance through futuristic sound, visuals, and vibrations. Is this enough?
Is it Res? Res. That's what I'm going with.
Is it? I don't know. Is it? You sound pretty sure of yourself.
I haven't played Res, actually.
Okay.
I know that it has the vibration thing, and the music's really good. So I'm going to go with Res. Yeah, I think Res.
You definitely should play Res. Whether that's the correct answer or not, that's another thing, but you should play Res. Yeah. So Res is your answer. Res. Could be. Yes. Yes. Well done. Res. Yes, that is the correct answer. 1 point. Well done. So did we... Oh, 5 points. Nice. So can we get to 8? Can we get to 8? That would be a nice score.
I feel like the music is letting me down. And I think the back of the box is more.
I think you'll get this next one. I think, judging from our conversation, but let's give it a listen to the second to last one. Let's take a listen. Here we go.
So it's the Chow Garden, but which Sonic Adventure? I don't know. I'm going to go with Sonic Adventure 1.
So your answer is Sonic Adventure 1?
Yeah.
Yes? Yes?
Yeah, let's just commit to that.
Sonic Adventure 1 is your answer. The song is called Join Us for Happy Time, with an actual number 4. Join us for a happy time. It's the Chow Race.
I feel like I've gone with the wrong one. But yeah, carry on.
It's from Sonic Adventure. Period.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good.
Good job. 1 point. Well done. Okay, time for the last back of the box, Luke. Okay. Let's see if you get this one. I think it's easy. The greatest redacted game in the arcades is now available in your own home. With the addition of a 10-year championship and grueling redacted conditions, choose from a multitude of world-famous redacteds on 17 challenging courses. Upload your best times to the internet or view the high score tables. I redacted a lot of stuff here.
Sega Rally 2. Like Sega Rally on the... It was Sega Rally 2 on the Dreamcast, wasn't it?
So Sega Rally 2 was the one on the Dreamcast, and that's your guess?
Yeah.
Pretty confident there, it seems.
I can't think of another arcade game that has courses.
Okay, should have redacted courses there. Okay, I redacted rally, I redacted driving, I redacted mud, deserts, blizzards, nighttime. And it is Sega Rally 2. Well done. Good job. So that means you got 7 points so far. So can we get 8? Let's see.
I got all the back of the boxes, so that's good.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So the music. 2 of the songs you didn't get. Let's see if you get this one. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. Let's take a listen.
Yo, it's like this when Allah said, let it be light. He also designated poetical brothers with mics for whoever had the skills to possess the gift, combinated with the flavor, and it go like this.
That could be many things.
I'll tell you, it's just one.
So for some reason, part of me thinks it's Ready to Rumble, but I don't know why. And I haven't played Ready to Rumble for a really long time. But I'm going to go with that because I don't have a better guess. So, is it Ready to Rumble?
What made you think of Ready to Rumble?
I don't know. I know that I think in the menus there's music that's similar to that. I feel like there is. That's it. It could be that. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I think it might be that.
Okay. Final answer. For glory.
Yeah. Or
for glory. For 8 points.
Yeah.
Okay, the song is called Improvise. I can hear people saying right now. It's not Ready to Rumble, no. It's Jet Set Radio.
Oh my god, that was my other thought. I thought Jet Set Radio, and then I thought, is that going to be too obvious? Is it something else? And then I thought Ready to Rumble.
Yeah, this time it was Jet Set Radio.
Oh, man. Okay.
But it's okay. 7 points. Look, that's amazing. That's very good job. So 7 out of 10, I think it's a pretty good score. And people usually don't score that high, so good job. That means you get the official Sega Lounge seal of approval.
Nice.
Which I'll send to you later. Very good. Well then, thank you for indulging me in this little game, in this Sega Lounge challenge.
I liked it.
Nice.
You did.
Yeah. Okay. So before I let you go, let's talk a little bit more about Driving Strikers. So how can people find Driving Strikers and play it? Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
So the game's available on Wave Game Studios website. It's available in digital form and also in US, Japanese, and PAL designs.
Boxed versions. Yeah.
It's available on Steam for Windows, Linux, and Steam Deck. And it's available on Android for free if you just want to play the single player version, just on the Play Store.
Excellent. Very good. So people should definitely check it out. I'll leave some links in the show notes for people to check it out. Really fun game. And definitely, I would say try to get a couple of people if you can to play local co-op. It's a really fun experience. Really fun. Yeah. But you can play online. So do try that as well. Yeah. Maybe have someone playing on the Dreamcast with the DreamPi and someone else on the PC or something.
Yeah.
That's nice. Excellent. Have you gotten like feedback of people playing online and any kind of fun experiences they've had or something?
Yeah,
That's something that gets to you?
Yeah, I mean, loads of people have said how much fun it is online, and I think it should have been it was kind of, online's great, like it's amazing it does online, but I was surprised how much the party game aspect of it was so strong. So like aside from testing it during development, I hadn't actually played it with friends, if you know what I mean. Like,
okay.
I had like 4 controllers plugged in and I was just moving them around myself, but I hadn't actually played with friends. And then after release, when I received my physical copy, I invited some friends around to play, and we just played it all night. Like, and it was just loads of fun. So like, I think that's the most fun. I think if you've got people in the room, because you can get really angry at people. Like, you know what I mean? Much easier to get angry at your friends when they're in the room than when you're playing.
That's true. Are you the sort of people that can appreciate like the work that you've done after it's finished? Are you like, can you just like unplug from that like game developer mentality and like, oh, I should have done this a little bit differently? Or
no, I a little bit. I mean, I'm proud of what I achieved, but at the same time, I'm just like, oh, I should have done this differently. Like, if I had made decisions earlier differently, things would have been easier. I think that's the main thing. A lot of time was spent, particularly on the menus of the game, like the game lobby, having a keyboard, like an on-screen keyboard, and all of the problems that like internationalization and translations and all of that stuff. Because what I was doing is I was looking at the games of the time of like when the Dreamcast came out and how they did lobbies, how they did multiplayer, and replicating that. And that was way more work than if I had just gone, actually, you can just send a few set phrases, or it automatically just pairs you up with people. You know, like how Mario Kart would do. Do you know what I mean? You just start a game, you join some people in a match, and then that would be much, much easier. That would have taken much less time. And it didn't occur to me at all until well after release that actually all that effort I put in, I probably didn't need to do. Like, people could have still played online. It probably would have been a smoother experience. But it's those kind of things that play on my mind all the time. But maybe one day I'll go back and change it. But funnily enough, the PC version, doesn't have a keyboard. You can't type, because if you're publishing to Steam, that opens a whole load of issues if people can just write whatever they want to whoever they want.
Okay.
So in the PC version, you don't get to type messages. So if you join a match between, say, Dreamcast and PC, the Dreamcast people can type whatever they like. The Steam people have to select from set phrases that they respond. So if the conversation's a bit weird, that's why.
Okay. Probably to like keep it in a like safe for kids, right? Probably as well. Yeah. Would that affect like the, what do you call it? The rating, the ESRB ratings or something? Or I don't know. I have no idea.
If it was unfiltered,
probably, right?
It's censored on the way in. But it does. If there's a load of compliance stuff you have to do in the publishing thing.
Okay.
I was just like, I'm not even going down that. Let's just not do that.
Yeah. Probably would make it a little bit harder to find as well for people just like browsing the the Steam store or something.
Yeah.
If it's somewhat censored, probably not easy for anyone to find. Okay, excellent. So what's next, Luke? What can people expect from you and in the Dreamcast scene?
The next for me, there's two things. I'm working on an updated build of Driving Strikers with the latest from the latest game engine in it.
Yeah.
I don't know when that will be done, but it'll be available as a digital update to people who have got the game. So I'm working on that, and I'm also working on a new game, which is a racing game. It's like a sort of top-down third-person perspective racing game. It's inspired by a game that I used to play when I was a kid called Ignition, which is a PC game that I still play, still love it. So that is in progress. There's a video on Twitter of me doing some test stuff. I'm probably not going to post as many updates as I did with Driving Strikers, but I will post cool things occasionally. But yeah, that's coming along really well because it's using the latest version of Simulant, so things are much easier, the code's much cleaner, everything's much just faster to develop. So yeah, hopefully that will. My aim is to have it sort of ready this year. Like it would be good to do it much quicker than Driving Strikers. Driving Strikers was about how long was it? I think about 2 years to develop. Whereas I want to try and do it much more quickly and do more games. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Like a more streamlined process, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. So what's your take on the whole Dreamcast indie scene and homebrew scene right now? Because obviously you're part of it now, right? Releasing games and whatnot. What's about the Dreamcast? What is it like that makes people want to make games for it? At least not people, but you specifically right now.
I think what's good about it is it's open, right? Like there are most of the consoles you either have to buy a mod chip or use a exploit in a game or a memory card or something to get the games to load. Whereas the Dreamcast, you can literally just burn a disc and it works. PlayStation 2 actually has just about got to the same point last year. They have an exploit now where you can burn a DVD, and in all the slim consoles you can do the disc now.
Okay.
But I think because Dreamcast had that the whole time, it's very just easy to drop into it, right? It's not like I can't even think of another console that it's so easy. Maybe the PSP, possibly. But yeah, I think that's part of it. Also, it's the Dreamcast. You can do you can make really good looking games, even though it's a 20-year-old console. It was for its time. It was ahead of its time, as everyone knows. But it was that it had crossed that line into 3D was no longer an experiment, right? It was like 3D was the default, and I think it just makes it a really nice, achievable level of hardware to develop for, if you know what I mean. Before that, if you're going into Saturn, that's quite crazy hard to develop for, and then you've got like Mega Drive, and that's assembly, right? But it's just the right time, the right hardware, and it was open because of the nil CD floor thing, and that's why. And there's so much documentation and people out there who can help you. And the indie scene is the most welcoming I've seen. Like, so I'm in loads of different Discords for loads of different consoles, and none of them seem as warm. Do you know what I mean? As the Dreamcast one is. Yeah. So like people can come in, they can ask questions that might seem stupid, and people will answer them like in a friendly way. They won't ridicule them for a stupid question. You know what I mean? It's like, and I think that helps.
Awesome. Yeah. It's interesting, and I do agree. Like when you look at games from the Dreamcast era, they still hold up graphically, right? It's not like they're not hyper realistic, but the art style on most of those games, even though the hardware was limited as compared to what we have now, still holds up, and it's past that 3D threshold, like you were saying, where things are already looking pretty good, right?
Yeah, and I think that style is something that I think is going to come back into fashion. Like pixel art has been done to death, right?
Yeah.
At this point. Mm-hmm. But that sort of like early 2000s art style, I think is quite a nice look. It's like the kind of flat sort of polygons, but like the texture detail was getting there. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of look. I think you can make really nice looking scenes in that.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at, there's a project to do like sort of Shenmue 3 in Dreamcast style with like Dreamcast graphics, and it looks pretty good. So it's nice. Yeah. So it's nice. It's nice. It's I think, as you were saying, it's coming back, right? And I think pixel art always looks good and will always look good, but like the 3D style of the Dreamcast is, I think, also really nice. And you can't really say the same for other moments in the 3D type of game, right? Yeah. Okay. Very good. Look, so thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much. I have one final question for you, which is the same that I ask to all my guests. And it is related to blast processing. Are you familiar with that term?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay,
is that what the Mega Drive supposedly had over the SNES?
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, they said that in the US, right? So that like the Genesis had blast processing, made it more powerful and faster and whatnot. So my question is, let's say that's real. I mean, of course it is. It's a real thing. If you could add blast processing to anything in the world, what would it be and why?
Oh, wow. I don't know. What would I...
What would benefit from blast processing?
I think I would, to be honest. If I could code faster, that would be great. So you say that's my answer, me. If I had a bit more energy to get more stuff coded, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, that's a decent answer. Yeah, there are no wrong answers, and no right answers either, because it isn't possible. But okay, but yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, blast processing for the DreamPi as well.
Yeah,
or for whoever is working on the new version of a DreamPi. People out there listening to us.
Someone do that.
Okay, look, thank you very much for coming. Anything you'd like to add before we go to people listening in and people who've been enjoying driving Strikers?
Just, I guess, follow me on Twitter. Post stuff there. If you're interested in game development, the Simulant Discord is open. Go check it out. That's it, really, I think.
Excellent. So thank you for coming. All the best for your future projects. And I get the feeling you'll have to come back when your new driving game is out and tell us a little bit more about that.
Sounds good. Yeah, let's do that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, my thanks to Luke Benstead for coming on the show. Be sure to check out his Patreon, which I'll link in the show notes, as well as Driving Strikers, which you should definitely buy and play with your friends. Speaking of things you should buy, have you looked through our awesome selection of the Sega Lounge themed merch? It's available at thesegalounge.com/support, and it's a great way to support the show, and represent the lounge in style. In the coming weeks, we'll be releasing merch with our very first logo on it from back in 2014. That said, our 10th anniversary mug continues to be quite popular these days. You can check it out at thesegalounge.com/support. Well then, it's time to go. We'll be back next week with our live episode for the month of March. So be sure to tune in to Twitch or Radio Sega on March 28th at 8 p.m. GMT if you wish to join the conversation in real time. Thank you very much for your continued support. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. The Sega Lounge, hosted by me, KC, and part of Radio Sega's network of live shows and podcasts. Theme song and incidental music by OSC. Got any suggestions? Drop me an email to podcast@thesegalounge.com. Find us at The Sega Lounge on X, Twitter, and Instagram, at thesegalounge.com on Blue Sky, and be sure to check out our Twitch and YouTube channel for live video content. You can find previous episodes of the show by going to thesegalounge.com, on the Terra Player app, and wherever you listen to podcasts. A Mixed On Productions podcast.